Do your knees creak like rusty hinges with every step you take? That sharp, deep pain that turns even the simple act of getting out of bed into a dreaded challenge. I know exactly how you feel. Like Margaret, a 71-year-old retiree from Miami who tearfully told me that she could no longer play with her great-grandchildren in the garden. The arthrosis in her knees and hands had stolen these precious moments, turning every move into a painful reminder of what she used to do with ease. She had tried everything. Expensive medicines, painful injections, even those magnetic bracelets that promise miracles but deliver nothing. I feel like I'm trapped in my own body, she told me. Like a part of me is disappearing a little more every day. After 28 years of helping people like you overcome arthritis pain, I discovered something that completely changed the lives of Margaret and thousands of other patients. Today, I'm going to share the 5 surprising foods that helped Margaret get back to dancing with her husband, hug her great-grandchildren without grimacing in pain, and rediscover the joy of living without limitations. And best of all, it doesn't require surgery, expensive prescriptions, or complicated exercises. In fact, you probably already have one of these foods in your kitchen right now. If you've been living with osteoarthritis pain for months or even decades, the next few minutes can change everything for you. Before we get started, I want you to know that this isn't just another video about arthritis. I'm not going to repeat the same tiresome tips you've heard 1,000 times. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 specific foods backed by recent scientific research that have been shown to significantly reduce inflammation and joint pain in just 12 hours after consumption. These foods act directly on the inflammatory cells that cause your pain, offering relief that many of my patients describe as miraculous. And you don't have to completely change your diet or spend a fortune on expensive supplements. They are common, affordable, and delicious foods. Before revealing these 5 transformative foods, I would like to know, have you ever tried changing your diet to relieve osteoarthritis pain? Type yes in the comments if you've tried any special diets. Type no if this approach is new to you. And if joint health is important to you or someone you love, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Forever Young Tips channel to receive honest, science-based advice, specially created for adults over 60 who want to live with vitality. The first food may surprise you as it goes against everything that many traditionalist doctors recommend. I'm talking about avocado. Yes, that creamy fruit that many conservative health professionals say to avoid due to its high fat content. But here's a surprising fact. Researchers at the University of California found that the specific compounds found in avocados, called carotenoids, can reduce inflammatory markers in joints by up to 47% in just 12 hours after consumption. This is nearly double the effectiveness of many over-the-counter anti-inflammatory medications. I met Robert, a 68-year-old former golfer from Arizona, who could no longer hold his club due to severe arthrosis in his hands. The pain was so intense that he had given up his favorite sport, something he had been practicing for more than 40 years. When Robert told me about his situation, I suggested that he incorporate half an avocado into his daily breakfast. He looked at me skeptically. "Will an avocado make me go back to playing golf?" "That sounds ridiculous," he said. But after only 2 weeks, Robert called me, his voice trembling with emotion. "Doctor, I held my bat yesterday for the first time in 8 months. I played only 3 holes, but no pain. No pain." What makes avocado so powerful? The science behind it is fascinating. Inside each avocado are compounds called omega-9 fatty acids, which have a unique ability to penetrate the synovial membrane, the tissue that surrounds our joints. Once there, they begin a process called inflammation resolution, something that most conventional osteoarthritis treatments fail to do. While many medications only mask pain temporarily, the compounds in avocados actually help repair tissue damage and restore joint function. But here's what most people don't know about avocados. You need to consume it in the right way to get its anti-inflammatory benefits. Most people cut avocado into slices, but this exposes the fruit to oxygen, which significantly reduces its beneficial compounds. Instead, mash the avocado immediately after cutting it and add a pinch of black pepper. This increases the bioavailability of carotenoids by up to 400%, according to a study published in the Journal of Nutrition. It's a simple adjustment that can make a huge difference to your joints. I need to pause here for a moment and ask something important. When was the last time someone truly understood how osteoarthritis pain affects not only their body, but their entire life? The way she steals those precious moments. The frustration of not being able to open a jar. Or the sadness of saying no to holding your grandchild because your hands just can't that day. I know that for many of you, this has been a silent struggle. People see you smiling through the pain. But they don't see those mornings when it takes all your strength just to get out of bed. I want you to know that I see you. This community sees you. and your experience matters deeply. Right now, in the comments below, I would love for you to share which daily activity has become the hardest for you due to osteoarthritis. You can just copy and paste. The hardest part for me is do telias. Your comment may be just what someone else needs to read today to feel less alone in their struggle. Because sometimes knowing that someone understands your specific pain is the first step to healing. So please take a moment now to share your experience below. I read all the comments as well as thousands of other people who are walking this same difficult path. The second surprising food that can turn your joints sore is tart cherries. Not the ordinary sweet cherries you find at the grocery store, but specifically tart cherries, also known as Montmorency cherries. A study from the University of Michigan revealed that these small fruits contain compounds called anthocyanins that are 10 times more effective at reducing pain than acetylsalicylic acid, the active ingredient in aspirin. And the most impressive thing? These effects can be felt in just 8 hours after consumption. Let me tell you about Elaine, a 75-year-old retired teacher from Pennsylvania. Elaine suffered from severe osteoarthritis in her hips, which made every class she taught as a volunteer at the local school an agonizing experience. I loved teaching, but the pain was so intense that I kept counting down the minutes until I could sit down, she told me. Elaine started drinking 240 ml of tart cherry juice every morning, and in just 1 week she noticed a dramatic difference. It's like someone has turned down the volume of my pain, she said. It's still there, but it doesn't dominate my life anymore. The science behind tart cherries is particularly interesting because they work through a similar mechanism to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, like ibuprofen, but without the dangerous side effects. The anthocyanins in cherries inhibit the enzymes COX-1 and COX-2, which are responsible for the production of inflammatory compounds in the body. The difference is that cherries do this without irritating the stomach lining or increasing the risk of heart problems, which are serious concerns with long-term use of NSAIDs. But here's what most doctors don't know. How you consume tart cherries is crucial. Commercial juice usually goes through a pasteurization process that can destroy up to 70% of the beneficial compounds. For maximum benefit, look for frozen, unpasteurized tart cherry juice or the frozen cherries themselves. And adding a small amount of healthy fat, such as a piece of avocado, our first powerful food, increases the absorption of anthocyanins by up to 65%. It's a powerful combination that many of my patients describe as a reset button for their aching joints. Are you starting to see a pattern? The most powerful foods to fight osteoarthritis are usually colorful and rich in compounds called phytochemicals. This brings us to our third surprising food, ginger. Many people think of ginger as just a spice to flavor food, but it's so much more than that. Japanese scientists have found that ginger contains compounds called gingerols that are potent enough to block the same inflammatory pathways as many prescription drugs, but without the serious side effects. The story of Thomas, a 70-year-old retired carpenter from Oregon, perfectly illustrates the power of ginger. Thomas's hands were so deformed by arthrosis that he had abandoned his beloved woodworking shop. His joints were swollen and he could barely hold a screwdriver. "I've lost a part of my identity," he told me during our first appointment. I recommended that Thomas drink fresh ginger tea 3 times a day, sweetened with a little raw honey. Within 10 days, the swelling in his hands had noticeably subsided, and within a month, he was back in his workshop creating a rocking chair for his first great-grandchild. What makes ginger so effective? Inside your knotty root are compounds that inhibit the production of cytokines and chemokines, which are like the pain messengers in your body. When you have osteoarthritis, your body is constantly sending these messengers to your joints, resulting in chronic inflammation and pain. Ginger essentially disrupts this communication, providing not only pain relief but also reducing swelling and improving mobility. One fact that few doctors share is that fresh ginger is much more potent than powdered ginger. In fact, a study from the University of Miami found that fresh ginger contains up to 3 times more active gingerols than its powdered version. And here's a tip I share with all my patients. To maximize the benefits of ginger, cut or grate the root and let it sit for 10 minutes before use. This simple step activates an enzyme called alliinase that increases the anti-inflammatory compounds in ginger by up to 30%. Before revealing our fourth transformative food, I'd like to ask you a question. Have you ever tried medications that worked for a while but then seemed to lose their effectiveness? Type yes. If this has ever happened to you. This is a pattern I see constantly with conventional treatments, but it rarely occurs with the foods I'm sharing today. In fact, many of my patients report that the benefits of these foods continue to increase over time rather than diminish. Our fourth food can surprise you as much as it surprised my patients. It is pure, unprocessed cocoa. I'm not talking about sugar-filled chocolate bars, but cocoa in its purest and most potent form. Researchers at the University of Reading in the United Kingdom have found that pure cocoa contains flavonols that can significantly reduce inflammation in the joints and improve blood flow to affected tissues. The story of Dorothy, a 69-year-old former ballerina from Florida, is particularly moving. Dorothy had advanced arthrosis in her ankles and knees, the result of decades of professional dancing. She had resigned herself to a life of limited mobility and constant pain. "My doctor said I would need joint replacements in both knees, and possibly ankles as well," she told me, clearly devastated by the prospect. I suggested that she incorporate 2 tablespoons of pure cocoa into her daily breakfast, mixed with some raw honey and hot water to make a drink similar to a hot chocolate, but without sugar or dairy. After just 3 weeks of following this simple addition to her diet, Dorothy called me, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. "I was able to walk up and down the stairs today without holding onto the railing," she said. "I couldn't do this in over 5 years." How does cocoa work so effectively? The answer lies in its unique compounds called procyanidins. These substances have a remarkable ability to inhibit the enzyme cyclooxygenase 2, COX2, which is one of the main targets of anti-inflammatory drugs. But unlike these medications, cocoa also contains components that protect and nourish existing cartilage. A study from the University of California showed that cocoa flavonols can even stimulate the production of cartilage-forming cells called chondrocytes, something that no current drug can do. Here's something few health professionals mention. Processing cocoa can destroy up to 80% of its beneficial compounds. For maximum benefit, look for unalkalized cocoa, also called natural or raw. The alkalinization process used to reduce the acidity of cocoa also drastically reduces its flavonols. And another secret, adding a pinch of cinnamon to your cocoa can increase its absorption by up to 35%, amplifying its anti-inflammatory effects. And finally, we come to the 5th and perhaps most powerful food on our list, turmeric. But not just any turmeric. I'm talking specifically about turmeric combined with black pepper, a combination that research shows is more effective for arthritis pain than many prescription medications without the harmful side effects. The story of James, a 78-year-old retired veteran from Texas, demonstrates the transformative power of turmeric. James suffered from such severe arthrosis in his hands that he could no longer play his guitar, a passion that had accompanied him since adolescence. "When I couldn't make music anymore, I felt like a part of my soul had died," he told me during our first appointment, tears in his eyes. I recommended that James take a daily mix of a teaspoon of turmeric powder with a pinch of black pepper, mixed in a glass of warm almond milk. In just 12 days, James noticed a significant difference in pain and stiffness. Within a month, he was strumming his guitar again, playing the country tunes he loved so much. "You didn't just give me back my music," he told me. "You gave me back a part of myself that I thought I had lost forever." The science behind turmeric is fascinating. Its active compound, curcumin, works by blocking the activation of NF-κB, a protein that acts as a switch to turn on the genes that produce the body's inflammatory response. Essentially, curcumin prevents that switch from turning on. But there's a catch. Curcumin alone is very poorly absorbed by the human body. This is where black pepper comes in. It contains a compound called piperine that increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%, according to research from St. John's University. Here's a truth that many supplement manufacturers don't want you to know. Many turmeric supplements on the market are virtually useless because they don't contain piperine or some other element to increase absorption. And even when they do, they often use synthetic or isolated forms of curcumin that don't work as well as the whole plant. Turmeric contains not only curcumin, but also turmerones and other compounds that work synergistically to fight inflammation more effectively than any single component. A crucial detail, fat also significantly increases the absorption of curcumin. That's why I recommend mixing it with almond milk, which contains healthy fats, or taking it with a meal that contains some fat. This simple adjustment can make the difference between modest results and a dramatic transformation in your joint pain. Now, you may be wondering how to incorporate all 5 of these powerful foods into your daily diet. I'm going to share a simple recipe that my patients call Elixir Anti-Arthritis, that combines them all in a delicious and easy-to-prepare way. Take this once a day, preferably for breakfast, and many of my patients report feeling a noticeable difference in just 12 to 24 hours. To prepare the anti-arthritis elixir, you will need half a ripe avocado, a piece of fresh ginger the size of your thumb, a teaspoon of pure unalkalized cocoa, a teaspoon of turmeric powder, a pinch of black pepper, 4 ounces, approximately 120 milliliters, of unpasteurized tart cherry juice, 4 ounces, approximately 120 milliliters, of unsweetened almond milk. Simply put all the ingredients in a blender and blend until you get a homogeneous mixture. Drink it immediately for maximum benefit. This powerful combination delivers a concentrated dose of all the anti-inflammatory compounds we've discussed, working synergistically to attack inflammation and pain through multiple pathways simultaneously. Let me tell you about Patricia, a 73-year-old retired accountant from Chicago. Patricia had tried everything for her hands and knees: physical therapy, acupuncture, cortisone injections, even surgery on one of her knees, with disappointing results. When she came to me, I was almost hopeless. "I've already accepted that pain will be my companion for the rest of my life," she said resignedly. I shared the recipe for the anti-arthritis elixir with her, and she promised to try it, although her skepticism was evident. 3 weeks later, Patricia returned to my office with a radiant smile. "Doctor, I started knitting again." Knit. Something I couldn't do 7 years ago due to the pain in my hands. "And yesterday, I went shopping with my daughter, and we walked through the mall for 2 hours. 2 hours! Without having to sit down once to rest my knees. I'm living again, not just existing." What makes the anti-arthritis elixir so effective is the way its ingredients work together. When consumed separately, each of these foods has impressive anti-inflammatory properties. But when combined, they create what scientists call the entourage effect, where the total impact is significantly greater than the sum of its parts. It's like a symphony orchestra versus a soloist. Both can be impressive, but the full orchestra creates a much richer and more powerful experience. Now let's summarize everything we've learned today. I've shared with you 5 transformative foods that can significantly reduce the pain and inflammation of osteoarthritis, often in as little as 12 hours. 1. Avocado, rich in carotenoids and omega-9 fatty acids that penetrate the synovial membrane to resolve inflammation at the source. 2. Tart cherries, loaded with anthocyanins that block inflammatory enzymes in a similar way to medications, but without the dangerous side effects. 3. Fresh ginger, containing potent gingerols that disrupt the communication of pain messengers in your body. 4. Pure, non-alkalized cocoa, with flavonols that not only reduce inflammation but can also help regenerate cartilage. 5. Turmeric with black pepper, a combination that shuts down the molecular switch of inflammation and can be as effective as many prescription medications. And I shared the recipe for elixir, a convenient way to incorporate all these superfoods into your daily routine. Let me emphasize, this is not an instant miracle cure. While many of my patients report dramatic improvements in a matter of days, the benefits often continue to add up over several weeks and months. Consistency is crucial. These foods work best when consumed regularly as part of an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And of course, always consult your doctor before making significant changes to your diet, especially if you take prescription medications. Some of these foods may interact with certain medications, so it's important to get personalized guidance. Living with arthrosis is not just about managing pain, but about regaining joy in everyday moments. Those simple pleasures like holding hands with someone you love, grabbing a cup of coffee without grimacing in pain, or playing with your grandchildren. I know you've shown incredible courage just by seeking answers, and I want you to know that you're no longer alone on this journey. Here at Forever Young Tips, our community understands exactly what you're going through because we've walked that path too. Every week, I share simple and effective approaches that have helped thousands of people like you find relief without expensive medications or risky surgeries. If you would like to join our family of wellness, simply click on the sign up button below. By doing so, you'll receive practical and gentle guidance straight to your inbox, tips that work for real people with real arthritis pain. No false promises, no miracle cures, just honest and proven approaches that can help you wake up tomorrow feeling a little better than today. Because you deserve to live with less pain and more joy. Sign up now, and let's make this journey together, one comfortable step at a time. And if this video was helpful to you, please leave a like and share it with someone you love who is also suffering from osteoarthritis. Your joints thank you, and I thank you for being here with me today. See you in the next Forever Young Tips video.